What's up, YouTube? This is my first live. Just trying to practice. The topic of the day will be the NFL draft coming up on April 29th, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is something I've always wanted to do. Just doing it for fun. But let's talk some football. I titled the video "New York Giants." Didn't want to cover the whole draft. Just wanted to cover the New York Giants draft strategy. Obviously, Dave Gettleman is pretty much on the hot seat right now. Well, most fans think so. Dave Mara and Steve Tisch, the ownership, don't feel the same way. Well, they don't state those opinions publicly. But I think he's pretty much on the hot seat right now. He has to produce, He's a play it safe type of strategist when it comes to the draft. So he's not known for trading up or trading down. So pretty much where we stand at 11 is where we most likely will pick. So what are our needs as an organization? All right. I mean, us fans are part of the organization, so that's how I speak. But what are the Giants' needs? It's obviously we need help on the O-line or offensive line. Last year we drafted a solid left tackle, Andrew Thomas. And I say solid because he has potential to grow from where he is now. He started off the season rough, as most rookies do, especially rookie left tackles, and he picked up the pace. And he has a lot of potential for year two. We could add more depth at a bunch of positions, but the main three positions we need help are at right tackle, at wide receiver, and edge. We need an edge rusher. We need pressure on the quarterback. If you look at some of the PFF grades we have for the existing defensive line, you can see that. Well, first off, I like PFF and I like what they represent. I like the analytics, the stats, the way they progressively go into detail about the key details that most traditional stats in football don't cover. So I use them as a reference, like even the NFL does. NFL has some kind of partnership with PFF to some degree, so they highlight some of their stats and some of their analytics when going over, player ratings and stuff like that. Well, anyway, the point I was getting at was our D lines PFF ratings are relatively low. We really lacked heavily in regards to putting pressure on the quarterback, the opposing quarterbacks on teams. So that's something that is a heavy priority. But this isn't the edge heavy draft that we have had in the that we've had draft. This isn't a head. Excuse me. This isn't a edge heavy draft as we've had in the past. So we should focus on other positions and try to pick up an edge later in the draft. But since it's not an edge heavy draft, it puts us in a tight spot because there might not be one available. You know, if we had one of the top 5 picks, we could go edge. Edges usually go top 5 year in and year out. So the left tackles and of course quarterbacks. Most people that are proposing mock drafts are because of the recent trades within the draft are projecting that the first 4 picks would be quarterbacks. So, with that being said, we could get a chance at the edge for Miami. There's like 3 edges for Miami, which is pretty, ironic. You got Gregory Rousseau who opted out his 2020 campaign. We have the other two guys. I forget their names. I should have all this stuff, but like I said, this is a practice. You see the parentheses. Yeah. Anyway, those two guys are awesome. We do have on some people's radar the opportunity to pick up the kid from Miami, the defensive end, at 11, even though he's projected as a 15th to 18th rated player, prospect wise. So that fills that need. Gettleman is pretty much a value picker. If we have value at that pick, we're going to pick that player, even if it adds depth. And a lot of people don't believe in that strategy, and the thing that does is it creates a plus would be it creates more competition within the rooms, the running back room, the wide receiver room. It creates more competition, which is great, right? When you add more depth. But obviously, if you have holes in your roster, you want to fill those holes. You want to be able to create the opportunity to have a team that's even keel, that on paper could compete in their division. So with that being said, like I said before, we really lack at the edge, the tackle, and the wide receiver position. Yes, we did sign Golladay, Kenny Golladay from the Lions. Yes, we already have proven wide receivers, proven slot wide receivers. Sorry, somebody was passing by right now. Slayton, we have Slayton, who's going to be a third-year guy who shined big time in the first year, who I think will shine again in the third year. The reason he was able to shine in the first year was because Saquon brings a lot of attention into the box. As a running back who is able to create so much, he brings so much attention in the box that it creates a situation where you have different type of defenders in the box. All right? And this is a little bit more intricate, where some standard NFL football watchers who don't know schemes and stuff like that won't pick up on this. But your first two downs, your linebacker, defensive line heavy. In today's football, where everything's more spread out, on third down, you're going 5 D-backs, right? So during the first two downs, with a running back like Saquon, who averages 5 yards a carry, well, probably a 4.7, but you could round it up to 5. You have to focus on getting the defenders heavy into the box and not projecting a second or the first or second down throw downfield. So what that does is that puts tight ends on linebackers, puts the stuck right now. Like I said, this is practice. But anyway, there's more opportunity for the wide receivers to create the offensive coordinators to create these kind of routes where, especially in the zone, they're able to sit behind the linebackers, as opposed to when on third downs there's 5 DBs and they have to kind of do these double routes to create more opportunity to get open. So anyway, the point was Slayton was able to capitalize on that. Year 2, that was out the window. That was definitely out the window. So people were able to pretty much stay in that 5 D-back set, second and third downs against the Giants, right? What does that do? That creates less throwing lanes. That creates less opportunity for Daniel Jones to pick apart the defense, right? Not to say that Gallman was not a consistent back, but I think the reason Gallman was consistent was because people would rather focus on Daniel Jones and his throwing ability because of what he did in year one than focus on Gallman being a threat. Not a threat at all. That's why they aren't with the team any longer. The whole pretty much running back room is gone. So we do have depth at the wide receiver position in that regard. But Golladay added to that, and we could go wide receiver, which would really add to that. And some projected wide receiver picks would be Jalen Waddle, obviously, wide receiver from Alabama who was hurt midseason in his final year. He was the go-to guy. He was the guy who was supposed to be the big star that Devontae Smith wound up being because of his speed. He has that take the top off a defense type of speed. You know, that's a go-to phrase in reference to one of these type of wide receivers that can play all positions, whether it's the slot, whether it's just the outside guy. And what those wide receivers do is they spread the field.
What you talking about, Wes?
Which gives doing something funny here, which gives the safety more decisions to make on the back end of the field, which opens up the midfield, and that's something that has become the standard for championship teams. An example, of course, Kansas City Chiefs. So, you know, I don't even have to say his name. The cheetah, right? That speed. So, if we want to compete at that level, we have to be able to spread the field out. If you add that to Saquon, healthy Saquon, being the type of running back he is and where he's able to pop something and just really dominate, that we have two opportunities to kind of like pull that field like a rubber band, right? We have people focus on a deep threat, right? People focusing on Saquon. We do have Evan Ingram, who a lot of people look down on. I definitely don't look down on Evan Ingram. I think he's inconsistent, but who is on the Giants roster, right? He's a solid talent, speed, great hands. He has drops. So what? I mean, that one drop though, he cost the Giants the game. Bullshit. He fucking had to reach all the way out and touch his hands. Come on, you can't say that is equivalent to a drop where somebody literally catches in their chest and it just flops right out. So there's a reason the Giants are keeping him. Yes, there's the opportunity for them to use him as some heavy meat for a good trade, but I don't think so. I think they like what he brings to the table. So with that being said, if the Giants do get a wide receiver that's fast with Saquon and Evan Ingram as level 1 running back, level 2 tight end, you know, Slayton, in addition to a possible Waddle, there's layers upon layers within the zone that can be ripped apart by the Giants. But what can you really do without an O-line? Seriously. What can you really do? Like, the Giants have been, like, tough to watch for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years because of their lack of consistency at the O-line positions, plural, primarily the tackle position. They show a lot of potential at the guard. What they did with Hernandez as a rookie. Um, they, rotated so many players since, what, since Odell Beckham left. Um, it, say who will be the starting five linemen come next year, But I think, if we do draft a tackle like Rashawn Slater from Northwestern, right? We we build that foundation, which in the NFL starts with the tackles, obviously, in college football as well. Starts with the tackles. Protect the blind side, right? Protect the opposite side as well, of course. Keep that pocket. Keep that U-shaped pocket. Give Danny Jones the opportunity to work his progressions, right? Give him the opportunity to not have to make miracles make miracles happen with his legs, even though he's fully capable. But he's fully capable by design. If you look at some of the long runs he's had, those are read options. Those are by design. Those are inside read options. And that's why the Giants drafted him, because he brings that opportunity for runs by the quarterback to the table. So the point is, we definitely have to consider that. We have to consider a tackle. I like the linebacker. I like the linebacker need. I'm a big Penn State fan. I was super happy when we drafted Saquon Barkley. I watched him play from his freshman year to his junior year. I like Micah Parsons. I've been watching him as a freshman. I've been watching him pretty much since high school when Penn State was recruiting him, and kind of got lucky with Ohio State and the rules that they broke by bringing him to a college game day presentation where you cannot bring a recruit to meet the media. So we lucked out. We wound up getting Micah Parsons, who actually is from Pennsylvania. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And he's a great, great, great athlete. Great athlete. He's hungry. He's fast. He makes short tackles. I like him. The problem with him is the position he may play with the Giants, right? We got Blake Martinez. He plays that Mike position with the Giants, that Mike linebacker position, the on-the-ball linebacker, right? That's the position Micah Parsons played with Penn State. Is he capable of playing the strong side, the Sam, right? Being the guy who has to play the strong side of the field, drop into pass coverage? Yes, he is. I remember watching videos of him as a high school recruit. If you follow high school recruiting before these kids actually jump to the college level, they are invited to these outings by these organizations that highlight the top talent, and they run drills, DNs versus tackles, position drills, wide receivers versus D-backs versus cornerbacks, running backs versus linebackers. They run these cool drills, and drills like that actually pump up the player ratings, the stars they get. There's a couple of cool websites that rate players, and those stars are very important to these kids' lives in regards to who they're gonna get recruited by. There's Mike Parsons was a 5-star, so that's a great example right there. But they they create this system so that kids can have the opportunity to grow from their sophomore to their junior to their senior years, so that there's more opportunity for them to get to these big schools and these big colleges and get more offers. Mm-hmm. So I say that to say that I saw him in the process of these drills, and he was always a 5-star. So the 247, which is one of the player rating, high school player rating websites, and ESPN 300 for college football, they already have him as a 5-star. I saw him doing drills. He was a defensive end in high school, first off. He was doing, as a defensive end, he was doing one-on-one drills with wide receivers. These are highly rated wide receivers, not just kids from his school or kids from his district or whatever. He was doing drills with high-end 4- and 5-star wide receivers, locking them up as a defensive end. So he could definitely play the strong side position with the Giants. Is it the best position to throw somebody like him in first coming in the NFL? Probably not. But I think there's room to grow. He does have a prior head coach, Coach Chaos, Sean Spencer, who was the defensive line coach, that he could actually link back up with, per se, if he jumps with the if he gets drafted by the Giants. I'm sorry, the ringing threw me off. So that's a big thing, you know. When you have a coach who knows how to coach a certain player, who's coached him before, and can coach him again on the next level, that's a plus. Obviously, he's a linebacker who would be assigned to the linebacker room with a linebacker coach. But in a 3-4 scheme, the defensive line and the linebackers coincide with each other when you have edge rushers, when you have stunts, all kind of stuff like that. So he's capable of blitz. That's one of the things about his package. His package includes getting pressure on the quarterback, locking up the tight ends, right? If he has to, who knows? He can maybe even lock up a slot wide receiver, and stopping the run. Second highest run stop grade in the PFF era. I think the PFF era is about 12 years, something like that. I gotta look back at that. So yeah, he's fully capable of being that guy on the Giants. I'm looking toward having him on the team. But for the success of the Giants and Saquon Barkley, we should get a lineman. Like I said, I'm hoping for Micah Parsons, but if we can't see any potential in a second or third round lineman, then we have to go and try to trade up for Penei Sewell, because he's not landing at 11, or picking Slater. Slater's grades and his stock rose, like I would say, like after January, just like kind of skyrocketed. So some people have him ahead of Penei Sewell. You know, Penei Sewell is a guard. You know, I'm sure he can be switched to tackle. Or we could maybe even get him at guard and keep him at guard, being that a lot of people are having high praise on Matt Peart. Sorry. Yeah. So, like I said, this is practice. I plan on doing these videos once in a while. You know, I think about sports all the time. I think about football all the time. I think about the Giants all the time. I think about Penn State players that can go to the Giants all the time. So That's the purpose of this video. I feel like he can be, like Parsons, a great addition to the Giants, but the Giants have to go with their gut instinct, albeit wide receiver or edge or tackle. Thanks.